Research is happening along the Crystal Coast to help understand if toxins like heavy metals and PFAS chemicals have made their way into oysters. The Coastal Federation's Stacia Strong has more on the work being done and how it could impact future health guidelines.
7.98.
Their research is the first of its kind.
My research is looking at quantifying the levels of heavy metals in oysters in the Pamlico Sound. For the past year, I've been collecting oysters to analyze them for PFAS, which is per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, and it's also known as a forever chemical.
While it's still in its early stages, graduate students Lauren Johnson and Tamar Moore at North Carolina Central University have been collecting oyster samples and taking water quality measurements to better understand what, if any, chemicals and toxins are present in the oysters.
Oysters are a very good indicator of the health of the estuary, and they directly reflect the water quality that they're growing in. So the research that Tamar and Lauren are doing is really interesting to do this sort of baseline look into how the oysters are accumulating and how oysters are faring in with their exposure to PFAS and heavy metals.
The students are working alongside the North Carolina Coastal Federation, which received a grant from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to support this research as well as others.
One of the major deliverables is to work with two of our local North Carolina universities to create opportunities for our emerging scientists to have experiences working towards their master's or their PhD in and around oyster related research.
Right now, the students' research is focusing on oysters in areas that are close to shellfish harvesting.
Oysters are able to bioaccumulate, and understanding that helps us understand how that goes through our food chain. And so that sparks another issue, just consumption. Even though we aren't researching the oysters for consumption, that does, go hand in hand. They are coming from the estuary, and there are oysters that are for consumption that are also coming from this body of water.
Looking through the preliminary results of their samples, the researchers did find higher levels of some toxins.
And they did find that, elevated arsenic and copper and lead were found in the tissue samples of these oysters. Future research, is going to be looking at how the samples from our open waters and oyster sanctuaries can compare to these closed waters. So that's still more information to come, but it's really groundbreaking, and it's really exciting to have this baseline data that we can build off of as we move forward.
The research will continue for the next 3 years. Reporting for the Coastal Federation and WITN, I'm Stacia Strong.
Now, experts say that the data from this research could also help guide water quality improvement work.